Hey, what's good, YouTube? Today we're gonna react to Swishout. The Nets are clearly cursed. Yeah, he gonna be talking about, KD got injured, MCL sprain, so he out for like damn near a month. So, and also KD got injured last season as well, like around this time. So, yeah.
Kevin Durant is down, grabbing at his right knee. Our favorite play.
All right, man. The Brooklyn Nets cannot catch a break. This team is easily becoming one of the most unlucky teams in the NBA, not only this year, but really since the 2000s began. As we all should know by now, Brooklyn, after that extremely rough start, they were recently steadily turning that corner. And I mean, looking like the best team in basketball turning the corner. At the beginning of the season, we had the Ben Simmons issues where he wouldn't shoot, he couldn't stay on the floor, and clearly he had a lot of dust to brush off. Then obviously the Kyrie Irving situation that actually turned political, took him out for 9 games and almost put like this dark cloud all around the organization. Then Kevin Durant, the most steady piece of all of this, he publicly calls out his teammates and makes himself look like the worst teammate ever. I can't lie. Steve Nash gets fired, and rumors circulate about them actually bringing back Ime Udoka. And I believe the NBA world as a whole wrote them off as a talented clown show.
You believe in the Nets more than Kevin Durant does.
Well, the Nets have changed. Let's keep it real. These are not the Nets I picked for winning.
There is this quote on the record.
You leave Golden State and Steph Curry to join forces with Kyrie Irving. I believe Kyrie Irving betrayed him because of Kyrie Irving's penchant for taking time off for whatever reason.
I thought everything Kevin said was pathetic. I thought his comments about why he demanded a trade were pathetic. I thought his comments about leadership were contradictory and pathetic. I thought the shot he took at their starting lineup at Sacramento was completely unnecessary and ultimately pathetic.
That was essentially the first month of the Brooklyn Nets, not even mentioning how wild their offseason was. That's a whole different story. But then after Kyrie Irving comes back and Jacques Vaughn
It's been a wild couple months for the Nets.
This team surprisingly wins 20 out of their last 24 games.
Bro, told y'all niggas, Steve Nash was the problem.
Had an 83 winning percentage, which, just to put it into context, that's on pace for almost a 70-win season. But unfortunately, all of that has now been halted in the exact same way because the engine of all of this, Kevin Durant, is injured again. Now, I'm going to get back to the 2023 Nets, but historically, this team just can't put it together, and it looks cursed. Okay, in the early 2000s, they play in maybe the weakest Eastern Conference ever. There was no LeBron, no Jordan, Giannis type of players, and they made 2 straight finals. The dominant Eastern Conference players at that time, like Iverson, Jerry Stackhouse, Vince Carter, they were either playing on bad teams or very mediocre teams, just putting up great numbers themselves. This allowed that New Jersey Nets team that had a point guard who couldn't shoot and no player averaging at least 15 points per game to make 2 straight finals. And they met 2 dynasties. Then they make the Vince Carter trade, pairing what looked to be a superstar with a pass-first Jason Kidd and a young, emerging athletic Richard Jefferson. Then, and this is why I say this team has to be cursed, Richard Jefferson, who only missed 5 out of his first 246 games in his first 3 years, he all of a sudden misses 80 games in their next 3 seasons, and they barely shared the court together. That, and basically the 04 draft, that ended that little experiment before it even started. Then, in the post-Jason Kidd era, after miserable year after miserable year, you make the most lopsided trade ever, gifting what we see Boston having now off of your stupidity. We all know this terrible trade, but in hindsight, you gifted Tatum and Brown for 1 year in a second-round appearance of a 37-year-old Garnett, a 36-year-old Pierce, and a 36-year-old Jason Terry that won nothing. Then bringing it up to now, even when you get surprisingly chosen by Kyrie and KD, it's been a roller coaster of extremely short highs combated by immediate lows. This completely blows my mind. The 2021 Nets, with that big three that we thought was going to break the NBA, James Harden, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant, they only played 8 games together. Even with that being the case, they still had the most efficient offense ever. Still to this day, they had the best single season offense ever. And we know how that season ended. I still believe, if healthy, they win. Last year, that big three gets blown up. And bro, think about it. A big three of James Harden, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant only played 16 games together. You have to win 16 games just to win an NBA championship in the playoffs alone. They only played 16 games together and won 13 of them. Then the Ben Simmons saga last year, where he just didn't play and he had a back injury and they expected him, but he never played in the playoffs. That was a whole mess, and it caused more problems within the organization. Kevin Durant requesting a trade, Kyrie wanting out. We know how that all played out. And now, currently, January 10th, as I record this video, when the light seems to be bright, it automatically dims. And let me show you exactly how dominant they've been since Kyrie came back.
Yeah, they stretch has been
they won 20 out of their last 24 games. But let me show you exactly how. This team defensively was 5th. I don't even think they had to be that high with how efficient their offense was. Also, for a team that looks pretty thin to the eye, they're protecting the paint at an above-average clip.
Yeah.
And they're leading the league.
Nick Claxton has been doing his shit.
And they're the only team that averaged 7 blocks since the 2018 Warriors that won the championship and also had Kevin Durant. And offensively, where they've always been pretty great, but they really took off during this run. They basically had 2 players shooting 50, 40, 90 splits, which may not be sustainable, but they did that during this span. The supporting cast, they've all fed off the attention those two constantly draw. Watanabe, who's like a hidden gem for this team, over 50% during this span from deep. Royce O'Neal, 43%. Seth Curry, 44%. Joe Harris, 40%. As a team, they had a 60% percentage, which would have shattered their previous record in 2021. Never forget, last year, January 15th, a half game out of the first seed, Bruce Brown fell on Kevin Durant's knee. And in that span, they won 5 out of their next 21 games, including a 10-game losing streak. This year, exactly 1 week prior and exactly 1 game away from the first seed, Jimmy Butler falls on his knee, and who knows how this next month or however long, how it's going to look. Obviously, I am a little frustrated because I am a Kevin Durant fan and I want to see his teams competitive again consistently, and it seems to be trending that way. But for whatever reason, this team, this organization, this name, they just can't put it together.
This nigga wearing a beanie doing practice.
If you guys like this video, prayers for Kevin Durant, and hopefully he can come back in a timely fashion and they won't lose the momentum they built over the last 2 months. We'll see, man. If you guys like the video, follow my social media sites.
Yeah, another great video of my fucking Swishout. But damn, the Nets, man, it seems like something always goes fucking wrong for the fucking Nets. But I hope KD gets better because, bro, I want to see the Nets be fucking competitive and fucking, you know, actually be a threat and actually be a contender to win a fucking chip, and instead of fucking, like, you know, injuries robbing them of this shit. But hey, they fired Steve Nash, and look what happens, man. A coach that actually, you know, drawing up plays for these niggas at least, like, damn. But, bro, the Nets has been on their shit. Like, the only team that still got the Nets number so far is the Celtics. Like, they still haven't beat the Celtics yet. But, hey, the fucking, the Nets so far has been on the road. They've been doing their shit. Watanabe, he's a shooter. And him on a defensive end, he put in the effort and always be fucking working. So, it's like, bro, shout out to Watanabe, man. But, man, trade that nigga Joe Harris, man. Trade that nigga Joe Harris. That nigga Joe Harris shit. Alright? But, you know, like, comment, subscribe. Just anything else from Interactive down below in the comments. But check out in the next one.